evening, and thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. It has been one of those days. I mean, if it could happen, it did happen, and in spite of all that did happen, we still here, still doing the work that we've been called to do. And I'm just strongly believing that because we are, others can be. I mean, we stand on the shoulders of other folks. We do the work we do to empower the least of them, particularly our young folks. And tonight we want to kind of dedicate this show as we start to gearing up to kind of encourage our young people to take a stand and to take on the streets and to be an advocate for social environmental change. We at Fathers Who Care really believe that if these young folks are going to be the best that they can be, we who know better are to train them to do better. So with that being said, I wanted to kind of feature a different flow this evening, in that I wanted to bring to you some of our young people who have been extremely actively involved, specifically on the west side of Chicago, in their efforts to bridge the gap, the intergenerational gap, but also to bring about some change in the community via young people speaking out, young people making a stand, and young people actually engaging our elders in the community. And they've done that, and I was really impressed with what they were doing, and I felt that it was a need for them to come on and talk to you, the viewing audience, on what you can do to bridge the gaps between young folks and us and our elders. So young people really had some real strong things to say on Monday night, and I felt compelled that after I had some leeway on some things, that I kind of worked it out so that we can work it in to make sure that we had two young people on the night. And then next week, of course, we would get back into another schedule when we would have Commissioner Robert Steele, who will be coming in from the county, pro tem, Commissioner Robert Steele, pro tem, from the county will be our guest next week, and he'll be talking about how we can engage young folks while promoting a safe and drug-free community. And he'll be talking to about the new development that's going on in the county and what we can do as citizens of Chicago to continue to do the work that we need to do to save our young people. It's so important that we save our young people and give our young people active things to do. I love them. I think some of these young folks are just rocket scientists, just needing the opportunity. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to Fathers Who Care. And as you know, we at Fathers Who Care strongly believe that any man that's physically capable can be a daddy, but it takes a real man to be a father. You love me? Huh? All right, I love you too. I love all of my young people. So I want you guys to know right now that you all are extremely important to me, and we want to give you all a call. Tonight we're going to be talking about how can we engage our young people in economic development, community organizing, civic engagement. How can we engage our young people in economic development, civic engagement, and community organizing? I think it's really important that we stop talking against our young people and start talking to our young people. What if we just really said to ourselves that we were going to work to do what we can to empower our young people? What if we say we were going to love our young people? What if we say, in spite of our young folks having some differences, we was going to work with our young people to make our young people understand that we're not against them, but instead that we love them? What if love was the real and only concrete that can hold a broken community together? What if we really cared enough about each other to love each other? I really believe in that, and I really believe that young folks can really make a difference. So what we want to do tonight, we want to use this show to talk about how can we promote, how can we engage young people in economic development, community organizing, and civic engagement, but also how to promote a safe and drug-free community while reducing underage drinking, senseless violence in our community. So, Ms. Vernisha, how are you today?
Good.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in. I really appreciate you being our guest. I really appreciate the good work that you're doing with the young people. I think, you are almost there in your thoughts. I think right now, if you just kind of focus a little bit more on inclusion, meaning you can get more done when you include more people than you can if you have less people. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying I know sometime when we're young that we think we can do a lot by ourselves or with a few people. But I'm trying to tell you that the name of the game is to organize more young people to do what you do and to be part of what you do, then it make your work less harder, all right? And then you can do more of it. You understand what I'm saying, young man? So what I'm saying to you guys out there, we need to continue to encourage our young people, respect our young people, respect what the young people say, but also continue to engage young people. If we engage young people would restore that hope in us as elders. They will restore the hope in the community, and then they would do the work that they need to do in the community to make a difference. So with that being said, let's introduce our first guest this evening. Our first guest this evening is Vernisha Jones. And Vernisha Jones, you are our current West Garfield Park Youth Council President. And we're fortunate tonight because we also have our West Garfield Park Youth Council President Emeritus with us tonight. So we rocking tonight. We got how many? About 15, 16, 18 kids out there with us tonight. So we always ride deep in the neighborhood because we be about that life as the young folks take. I know they told me I was cool. Am I really cool? All right, thank you so much. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you and what's your motivation for doing what you do? And I mean, I want you to kind of be a little bit open to the young people who may be watching, but then also kind of include in there what can we do to recruit and retain more young people on the West Garfield Park Youth Council to be actively involved in helping other young people.
I'm Vernisha Jones. I'm 20 years old. I'm a student at Malcolm X College. I'm currently working and going to school for business, so I'm currently going into entrepreneurship.
Absolutely, I like that.
I'm starting to sell stuff because it's something that I have a passion for, and selling stuff that I know I like and I know other young people will like. And I feel like all kids should do what they feel like they love to do. And I feel like, what was your question?
Well, you're doing a wonderful job. Roll with it. I like what you're saying. Can I interject? I mean, because I was asking, who are you and what is your purpose? And you kind of rolled with it, okay? I mean, you started telling me who you are. You talked about the fact that you go to school. You talked about the fact that you're going into entrepreneurship. You told me that you're into sales and you're selling different things that people are liking today. Mm-hmm. And what I want you to do, always be careful that there's haters that's around, all right? Mm-hmm. So you got to always be prepared for those who don't mean you well. Because, see, everybody don't want to see folks make it, all right?
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Just for those folks who are watching tonight, I would like for you to get in touch with Yes Chicago. Yes Chicago is currently recruiting young people under the age of 18 to be actively involved in paid training. Jumpstart your career today through our career readiness training and job placement service. At 312-722-6808 and ask for Kelly. Again, it's 332 South Michigan, right? And it's registration and other kind of stuff going on with Yes Chicago registration. And they're also in the process of gearing up to start doing some parental involvement classes to empower more parents to be better parents. So I support Yes Chicago, and I encourage you to support Yes Chicago. So let's get back to the question. So the question we was talking about are how to engage young people. How can we engage more young people in economic development? You was talking about it, community organizing, and civic engagement. How can we do that? And should we do that?
We should, and I feel like we can by doing stuff like I said before. The kids like. So, like with me, I feel like a way to bridge kids in and have
kids.
Put
your hand down, so I want to kind of look your beautiful face in.
Well, like me, so I sell different stuff like sunglasses and stuff, and I know there's stuff that people my age, girls my age would like. So that's a way to bring girls in, and then when they come in, you know, like y'all say, like say for instance, you was to have a big peace rally, and you had like people that you know kids like, and once you get them there. You start bringing in extra stuff that you know they need to know, but you use what you have to try to get them there.
Okay, so but I like the fact that you're branching out into your entrepreneurship thing, and that you have a few things. And I know you're excited about it, and I'm excited for you, because anytime anybody can start thinking outside the box and saying they want to do some things on their own, all right, to empower themselves, I think that's a good thing, all right. So I want to encourage young people. To know, you know, those who are out there who feel disenfranchised, who feel like don't nobody care. I want to encourage you, young people. We care about you. We love you. And we have a warm place awaiting you at Fathers Who Care with the West Garfield Park Youth Council at 773-287-5821. 773-287-5821. And we currently have young folks who are actively involved in community organizing, community outreach, young folks empowering young folks. And I want to encourage you for additional information, log in to fatherswhocare.org. There's things going on all over the neighborhood, and I want you to personally be involved. And I want you to understand that it's not hard for us to do the things we want to do if we really want to do it. Just want to give you a little highlight of some stuff that these young people have been doing. Like right here, you see some things right here. You have the young people who are actively involved in Springfield. So the young folks came together and they took a trip to Springfield to advocate on behalf of themselves. So there's youth leadership in effect. Then on the right, you'll see the young people in their community forums when they was crossing the cultural and geographical boundaries, and we called it, or better yet, we termed it, Bridging the Intergenerational Gap to Promote a Safe and Drug-Free Community. So, and as you look, you'll see some of the other information and things that the young folks are actively involved in. Anti-bullying, school and gang anti-violence, preventing all forms of substance abuse, date awareness, avoid being a victim of peer pressure, conflict resolution, youth empowerment, and how to promote a drug-free lifestyle, and of course mentoring our future leaders. And so here we have the young folks was actually engaged in Springfield with Camille Lilly, and then over here they was involved with the city government with Alderman Jason Irvin. Then you have here they was doing an annual youth advocacy day in the white down here at the bottom. And then on the left, you see that they were actively involved in one of our community annual forums with the young people. And so as I get back to the call, or should I say back into the forum here, I want to just show you some other stuff when we come back about some of the outreach. But with that being said, let's go. Caller, you in there, your comment or question. We have our youth leader tonight, Vernisha Jones, who's the current president of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. What's your question or comment, please?
I have a question for the guest. And my question to you is, how do you as a youth advocate, how do you and your peers reach out to other youth to bring them into just into being more knowledgeable about what's going on and about making positive decisions as you yourself has already done, as far as wanting to be an entrepreneur and wanting to do things, and like Reverend Jones said, stepping outside of the box, thinking, going beyond just thinking about going to school and just working a simple job. Your desire is to want to own your own business and this, that, and other. So I want you to tell me, how do you reach out to other youth to get them motivated to be on the same page that you're on, or just to be on another page outside of just hanging out in the streets?
Thank you for your question, ma'am. You want to answer that?
I feel like the way to get youth motivated is, like I said, do something that kids are like, something that'll draw their attention. And like with me, I say like bring people around, like close friends around. And once you bring them friends around, have them bring more people around. Or have incentive where you tell people you bring a certain amount of people, you get this, because that will bring them out. And once you bring them out, you just try to do something to keep their attention so they will want to keep coming out.
But I want to say this, and thank you so much for the caller. And I want to say it's really important that we engage our young people. I mean, it's so often that, I'm around so many people who claim that they are movers and shakers and they're agents for social change in the community, and that they really want to make a difference in the life of young people. But every time I turn around, they won't engage the young folks. They don't respect what the young folks say. They won't even give the young folks an opportunity to be themselves. Instead, they want the young folks to be something, a clone of them or something. I personally, trust me, I think the young folks are extraordinarily bright. I think they're articulate. I think they have a lot of different ideas, a lot of things they can bring to the table. I think they are kind of green in that you have an opportunity to groom them. But for those who are constantly talking about what young folks ain't doing, forget you. I ain't talking to y'all no more. Caller, you on there, your comment or question. Did I say that? Did I get to with that? Don't forget you. I ain't talking to y'all. I was trying to be cool. Caller, you on the air.
What are situations,
Go ahead.
what are solutions to violence?
What are some solutions to violence? I like that. You want to go ahead and talk about solution to violence, or do which one?
Some solutions to violence.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what else. What are some
Giving
solutions to violence?
giving kids something to do. So money is a big thing that's going on nowadays. So that's where a lot of the violence coming from. People getting robbed or people not having no money, so they don't have anything to do. So they use their free time to either sit on the block, sell drugs, stuff like that. So I feel like
So-
giving kids a freeway, but at the same time trying to like employ kids like they doing now, doing different programs. But it like I feel like it should go younger because it's like kids are starting.
So are you telling me if we engage young folks and give them stuff to do, where we can stop the violence in the community?
You will never stop it, but you could minimize it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can minimize some of the activities, right?
Yeah.
You say you'll never stop it, but you can minimize some of the activity if you engage more young people in structured activities. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, and get them
Okay.
incentives.
I like what you're going with that. Give them incentives to do right, then they won't do wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate the call and call it. Please, you all call in. The phone lines are currently open, as you didn't know that. The number here is 312-738-1060. And we're talking about what can we do to reduce violence on the west side of Chicago while engaging young people in economic development, community organizing, and civic engagement. If we don't engage the young people, how we expect the young people to be what they can't see? Caller, you on there, your comment or question.
I don't have a question this time. I have a comment,
Okay.
and and my comment is, do you youth and the organization, the Fathers Who Care organization, ever go out and reach out to those different senators and aldermen and talk to them about different ideas that you have about what it would take to get the youth off the streets, as far as opening up more doors and more avenues for the children to be able to go to and learn positive things and do positive things? Do you ever do that as a youth organization?
Yes, we do. And thank you so much for that opportunity. If I showed you earlier, we do have different pictures that we have. We have pictures with aldermen, we have pictures with the congressmen, we have pictures with the senators. And most of the young folks who are actively involved with Fathers Who Care are actively involved and exposed to all of those elected officials, senators, and all that other good stuff. And so I just really want you to know that we really feel extraordinarily proud to engage these young folks, to expose these young folks to these relationships, because we want these young folks to know that if they can see it, they can be it. And so, caller, you on there, we're going to get right to you. We got our guest with us this evening, Mr. David Elam. David Elam is the President Emeritus for the West Garfield Park Youth Council. Now he served as a mentor and President Emeritus to the West Garfield Park Youth Council. It's a pleasure to see you back tonight with us, David, as always. You've been out there knocking down the bricks with those jobs that you've been doing what you got to do to hold it down. But we're glad that you took some time out to hang with the young folks today. Can we engage you in some calls tonight?
Yes, you can.
Do we have any calls on the line there, good people? Come on, caller, you on the air. Your comment or question, please.
Question.
Yes, sir.
How can we reduce violence?
How can we reduce violence? I think she just said that, didn't she? Thank you for the question, but go ahead. I think Vernicia, our current president, was talking about how to reduce violence. And can you go ahead and respond to him, because he probably didn't hear what she was saying. Go ahead and tell him how we can do it.
How some ways that you can reduce violence, you can create things like this, like the West Garfield Park Youth Council, like Reverend Jones and Vernicia was talking about earlier, about how you can bring young people out and seek a young person's interest, bring different outlets and opportunities to young people. Never bring the same thing, because if you bring the same thing, it gets boring and it gets tiring, and it tends to draw young people away. But if you bring different incentives and different opportunities that'll engage them and that'll keep them around, that'll more likely draw more young people into being interested and want to stay around.
I like that, David, and I think that's so true. You know, I really do have a fondness and a deep admiration for involving young people, because I really want to be an agent for social change, an agent for empowering young people. So I really have a heart for it. Don't get me wrong. I do know that I'm not 25 or 18 or 16 and nothing like that, but I feel good when I see that young people have a safe haven or a safe outlet to be themselves. I love it to see you all out there in the community making a difference. I love seeing that you all coming together in your youth council, talking to each other, going through the ups and downs, but working things out, as opposed to going out there grabbing a pistol or going out there grabbing something to get high on and creating havoc in the community. But David, let's go ahead and entertain a few more calls if you don't mind. Caller, you on air. We have our guest, President Emeritus David Elam with us. What's your comment or question, please? Kick it with us, will you?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Bill Robinson calling, and this is Bill Robinson calling, and want to thank you very much for all the work that you have been doing. I met you in 1998, and you were just as passionate then as you are now. Thank God we have Reverend Jones to help us educate our youth. We, the men, to stand up so we can have our youth stay away from drugs and gangs. We must also get politically active so we will know what people represent our interests. I just want to let Reverend Jones know because I've been working with him. I started in 1998 when I first met him through Congressman Danny Davis. Since then, I've watched Reverend Jones meet with the father rights attorney, Jeff Levy, the governor, many aldermen, many congressmen. Reverend Jones is truly committed, and I say to you, Reverend Jones, keep on keeping on. And somehow we're going to have to get the west side and the south side together.
Well,
Have a good
hey,
day.
hey, Bill, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your call, and thank you for your passion as well. And just so you know, I called you twice. All right, I called you twice since the last time we talked on the phone, and I was at that mental health training on Saturday. I thought you was gonna be there, but I did call you twice so that you know. Calling you on air. Your comment or question?
Yeah, good evening. I'd like to congratulate you on some of your efforts to, especially these internship programs that you engage your youngsters in, especially around politics and, letting them understand that they are the constituents that need to be out in the forefront of all of the different causes and, how they do their letter writing campaigns and, just showing them what it takes to get laws passed and, become junior senators, junior statesmen, and so
Well,
forth.
we would love for you to come out, love for you to be involved, love for you to empower and engage these young folks. We encourage you to give us a call at 773-287-5821. Again, the phone number is 773-287-5821. Or you can email us at the Westside Community Stakeholders at gmail.com. That's Westside Community Stakeholders at gmail.com. So we look forward to those who would like to volunteer, who would like to make a difference in the lives of these young folks. I'm simply just saying, let's stop talking at our children. Let's just stop talking about what they're not doing. Let's be an example for them. Let's do what we can to actually make a difference in these young folks' life. David, you was talking to us at a meeting we had recently with the community. And we was talking about how to bridge the gap and how to bring hope back into the community and what are the perceptions that young folks are feeling currently to their parents and or elders in the community. And you want to share with the audience what you said, please?
Something that I said to them was that a lot of young people today need to feel supported. They need to feel that hope is all not lost because a lot of them feel that way. A lot of them feel as though they walk around with their heads held low and feel as though their backs are against the wall
Right.
and they have no one else to turn to. But that's temporarily not the case. There's always somebody out there who cares for you and someone who always will have your back. If you have to go seek them, if they have to seek you. But your support system is there. There's no way you don't have a support system. There's always someone who cares for young people like Reverend Jones does. He has a real good passion for young people. I can speak from experience.
And I really do. I mean, and I think those who have known me over the years, and trust me, I'm really not saying that I'm cut out to be in this forever. I would love to have a passion in it or to be actively involved in it, but I'm getting older. And I want you guys to continue to stand on my shoulders and to continue to take this thing to the next level. I mean, we got a nice, well-rounded group of young folks that we have now. And I think it's way about time for you guys to start doing what y'all been doing, but start taking it to the next level as far as your relationship building. And building relationships with the public and build relationships that you already have with the congressmen, the senators, and all that. I'm just saying, more young people united, more young people can make change. The more young people who speak out, the more young people who can create social environmental changes. The more young people who go out there and say, down with this, down with that, we're going to stand for this, then there's more changes that we can do. And the more that you go out and assess your community, and the more you create change in your community, the more young people can live, and the more young people can be involved. But David, it looked like we have another caller. Do you mind if we entertain? Caller, you on air. Your comment or question, please. We have our President Emeritus, David Elam. Your comment, please.
I just wanted to say to David, it is so good seeing you, and I love the fact that you're always coming back, checking in on fathers who care and being able to be a mentor to the other youth that are in the organization. I just really appreciate you, and I'm enjoying seeing you right now on the show. Just want to tell you that.
Well, thank you so much for that comment, and thank you so much for encouraging these young people. And I'd like to openly say, David, before we encourage you to answer a few questions or so, what can we do to engage more elders into bridging the gap, to mentoring more young people, to providing more support to these young folks? What can we do?
Well, we can't talk about it. We have to be about it. Because a lot of times people can say they're going to do this, people can say they're going to do that. But in reality, in actuality, we have to stand up and actually do these things. I mean, yeah, we can go to forums, yeah, we can have rallies, but it takes more than that. It takes a collaborative effort from a community as a whole to come together. If they want change, they have to be about change, and they will create change together.
So I heard you say, don't talk about it, be about it. And I like that because I think for so long, I mean, folks are in an uproar all around the city now. Look at the violence. Look at the rate of violence. What we going to do? How are we going to do it? Who doing that? Who doing that? I'm telling you, you want to make a difference? Contact Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821. 773-287-5821. Give us a call at Fathers Who Care. Log in to fatherswhocare.org. It's been a stone blast, honey. And we want to tell you, tune in next week for our guest would be Commissioner Robert Steele. I love all of those young folks out there. Omari, you my man. You rock guy. You rock, Omari, and Mike, and Stephanie, Shania, and what's that boy's name? Harry, and Derek, and Michael, and Vernisha, and Jasmine, and Kiana, and all of them girls. All of y'all. I love you all. Good night. God bless you. Keep the faith. Y'all tune in next week. We love you. We'll be with you. God bless you. And good night to you.